Hello and welcome back to Comics and Beyond, our sort of weekly, we try, show where we take a comic story arc or a collected volume and we talk about it. We talk about the cool parts in it, its legacy, what it's all about. I am
And
one
I
of your
am
hosts,
Michael, who
Bruno,
is here
and with my
as
other host.
always. We try very hard. We try very, very hard to put stuff out when we can.
When we say stuff is for a certain
Or,
day, we
the
mean
week
it's for that
after.
day and maybe the day after.
Look, things are going to pick up. We promise, they'll pick up for the two of you watching. Just don't worry. We just got to get into this.
It'll happen,
But,
don't worry.
So today we're talking about one of my brother's favorite comic series. Do you know what we're talking about today?
We are talking about Civil War from Marvel Comics. So, oh gosh, where do I start about Civil War? This was a huge thing. You and I weren't even reading comics at the time.
Absolutely. I think
knew about Civil
the
War.
most important thing that came out of that 2000-ish area, that whole block of time from 2001 to 2009. Before we hit the double digits, before we hit the decade. I mean, Civil War was huge, gigantic. I mean, they were talking about it on the news. Stephen Colbert was talking about it. He was talking about something else in regards to that. The news was talking about it, I think, at one point.
Oh gosh, Civil War was this huge thing. I remember in terms of sales, Civil War was the first time in a while that Marvel had overtaken DC in terms of sales.
It was their comeback.
Yeah, it definitely was, because the 90s and early 2000s were definitely the era of DC.
Yeah, they kind of owned it.
Because
with Batman out, especially.
Yeah, because they had the whole Nightfall arc with Batman, and really all Marvel had in the 90s were the X-Men.
Don't diss the X-Men. They're important.
Oh, the X-Men are awesome. I'm not going to diss them, but for a comic company especially, if you only got 3 good selling books and they're all the same series, it's not really that good.
That's true. I'll give you that. Civil War turned it all around, though.
Oh,
if you thought Half Century War was a fan fiction,
wait till you see this.
That's actually a really... I don't know why I keep saying that. I keep saying that about these big team-up comics, that they play out like fan fiction, but that's not true at all, because they're canon and they're not.
Everything's fan fiction now.
That's true.
But when everything's fan fiction, nothing is.
Nothing. Yeah. Whoa, metaphysics for you. Didn't think you were gonna get that little. Didn't think you were gonna get that little philosophy lesson, did you, Internet? You're welcome. So back to Civil War. I think.
All right.
Why do you think Civil War became so popular? Because there's been a lot of events like this. But why do you think Civil War grasped so many the way that it did?
I think because it was just the right book at the right time. You know what I mean?
I definitely agree.
Civil War came out. It wasn't too long after 9/11. We all still had that in our minds, and it really played on the idea of security versus freedom.
Yeah, it did, and it's a really smart commentary on it, too. I think my jaw dropped in the scene when Captain America's in S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters, talking to, I don't remember her name, but leather chick with glasses. Yeah, that lady? Hill.
Yeah, Maria Hill.
And, now I have to look it up, but it's when he's talking about... I'm just going to look it up.
I think I know what you're talking about. There's a panel where he points at her and he's and then for some reason his mouth is proportioned really weird, so it looks like he's oh.
That's not the panel I was going to talk about, but that one is worth mentioning. That is definitely a panel worth mentioning. No, for some reason my Marvel Unlimited app, not a plug, is being really slow. That's how you know it's not a plug. I'm talking shit on it.
Man, screw
No,
Marvel
it's where
in this Civil War video.
It's no. He says it's something along the lines of where he's like criticizing her and saying it's something like it's not the government's job to tell me who the supervillains are or something.
Oh yeah, I
yeah.
remember that part.
Why won't it load? I'm really trying to get it to load. But no, that's so. That was a really, I think that was a really important line to have in that particular, like especially in that scene.
Yeah.
Because that's basically the place that we were at after having something so horrific happen to us. Like we were being told who the bad guy was.
Yeah, like it wasn't a matter like in World War II where like we knew who the bad guy was. Like literally, like our president came onto the TV and he was like, "These people did it. We're gonna go get them."
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's this line. It's "Don't play politics with me. Superheroes need to stay above that stuff, or Washington starts telling us who the supervillains are."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is the panel where he points at her and he's like, "Argh!"
Oh, that one. Okay, that's the one you were talking about.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the one 2 panels above. Don't worry, guys. We're gonna put these in the. We'll put these in the video for you when we're posting it. But I thought you were talking about the "You're asking me to arrest people who risk their lives" panel. Because that face is a. That is an epic derp face. And above that, actually, I hate to say it,
Huh.
I love the art style of this book. I hate how they draw Captain America.
Yeah.
I hate it. He looks so too machismo, too like 40s. Like Captain America's aged better than this.
Yeah, like the art style of this book really makes you realize, why does he have stupid wings on his head?
Yeah,
and why is he wearing bell bottoms?
It's too realistic of an art style to have Captain America portrayed in,
Yeah.
I think. At least this iteration of Captain America.
Yeah, definitely.
Although he does look out of place, and I do like that.
Uh-huh.
What else? Now that I'm just flipping through here. The presence of the Watcher. So the Watcher is such a huge presence whenever he's in a panel, I just feel so scared for everything that's happening.
Yeah, like just the mere fact, and I love that they are able to convey it so well in the book. Just the mere fact that the Watcher is there is just like, this is big.
And then I like how him and Doctor Strange are like bros towards the end. They're just hanging out, just like, "You're strong enough to stop this. Why aren't you over there?" It's
Yeah.
It's not my problem. No, like, seriously though, despite how like fluffy Doctor Strange's language was and how nice it sounded when he's talking to the Watcher at the end, all he's basically saying is, "It's not my problem, fuck it." That's all he's doing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's like, "Whatever,
Yeah.
I'm
He's like,
post-human.
I'm too good for these stupid battles that they're having."
Thank you. Again, Marvel with their Deus Ex Machina bullshit. Why couldn't so-and-so do something? Because he's too good. What?
Yeah, like, what's the excuse for Deadpool not being in Civil War? Wasn't he, like, vacationing in, like, Hawaii or like, on some island or something?
I don't know. I think Deadpool was dressed as Punisher. I think that's what happened.
I feel like I heard that somewhere. That the reason that Deadpool wasn't in Civil War was because he was, like, vacationing in Cancun or something. I might be completely wrong, but I remember hearing that somewhere.
I would believe it with Deadpool, definitely.
Yeah. That brings me up to something that I also want to talk about. Oh, I love the way the Punisher is used in this book.
Oh, absolutely. The way he's used to juxtapose Captain America is amazing, and the moment of realization that he gives Cap, I think, was beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, I was 100% on Punisher's side.
Uh-huh.
And cause like when he walks into the building so nonchalantly, just two machines, or he doesn't walk in because the villains walk in, right? Yeah, the villains walk in because they want to join the team, and then he just like stands up and just blasts them like out of nowhere. And then
then like there's like the one panel of him standing there just like
yeah. I don't think it's a look. I think he's looking at Cap just like like, what are you getting all mad
Sorry,
about?
force of habit.
Yeah, and I was just so blown away by Captain America beating the shit out of him after that, and then he's just like, I'm not gonna fight you. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, but like I love that Captain America tells him to fight, and then it's not that the Punisher says, I'm not going to fight you. He says, not against you.
Yeah. Just so amazing. And then you remember why that's important. Like, you know why that's important. Because I think Spider-Man says it, right?
Yeah, somebody says it. Yeah, I think it's Spider-Man.
Yeah, like Captain America's the reason that Frank, like, went to Vietnam and...
Yeah.
So many feelings.
I do like, though, how the Fantastic Four is, like, split, whereas Reed is on Tony's side, and then Sue Storm and Johnny Storm are on Captain America's side, and then the Thing is just like, I'm gonna stay home and take care of the kids.
Yeah, the Thing is the only fucking sensible one between the four of them. God damn it.
I love how it always cuts to, like, the Thing just, like, playing chess or something with the kids, or, like, doing their homework with them.
Reed Richards is a piece of shit dad.
It's just... I love his note at the end that he leaves for Sue.
It was so... It almost redeemed him. It almost redeemed him in my eyes. But at the end, I was just like, fuck you.
I love how at the beginning of his letter, he's like, forgive my sloppy handwriting. Like, you know how hard it is for me to slow down my thoughts long enough for the pencil to be able to transcribe them onto writing.
Such
and I'm
a
like,
dick.
But, like, it's totally justifiable because he is the smartest person
but
in the world.
But he's a piece of shit. God damn it, that pompous asshole. I don't know why she's married to him. I really fucking don't. Doesn't make any sense.
Oh yeah, this book is just it's just full of cool moments. Like, I think really each character that is big to the story has their own moment.
Yeah, even Hercules had his moment. Oh my god,
that was
picking
awesome.
up Thor's hammer. Well, not really Thor's hammer, but
I think it is Mjolnir though.
It's not. It couldn't be.
How do you know?
How could a cyborg pick up Mjolnir?
Oh yeah, maybe. I don't know. I thought I heard somewhere that it is Mjolnir.
I don't see how it could be. I mean, I don't know how the thing works, but I think it takes a little more than just DNA for Mjolnir to work. No, probably not. God damn it.
Yeah, because I would think if it's like an exact copy of Thor.
Because they're not gods, they're super tech.
Yeah.
Or magic tech, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
I don't know. What should we call technology that's like so far advanced it's magic in the Marvel Universe?
I don't know.
Magic tech, I guess.
Yeah, magic tech and super tech. Both are pretty good words.
I feel like we're going to need to define some of these things.
Coming up in our next video. Definition.
Marvel terminology explained. We're not going to say when we're going to release it, though, because I'm not going to.
But yeah.
So I guess it could be Mjolnir, but...
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I thought it was really Mjolnir.
I didn't know Thor was dead at this point in the comic line.
Because before this, the Ragnarok story had happened. And,
okay.
In Ragnarok is the Norse word for the apocalypse.
Right.
And
I had that Yu-Gi-Oh card.
And like what happens is there's a prophecy that this big snake will come up and it'll eat Asgard, I think. Yeah, Asgard. Mm-hmm. But the prophecy also says that Thor will stop the serpent. But in stopping the serpent, Thor has to die.
Oh. Does he do it?
Yeah. And then I think another serpent comes to eat Midgard, and then he dies again. That's the Fear Itself story. We should really read Fear Itself, because Fear Itself is pretty cool.
Is that the new one?
No, it was a few years ago. From what I know about Fear Itself, it's covered up by a lot of the other events, because a lot of the other events are bigger and more bombastic, but Fear Itself is pretty cool.
Bombastic! Alright. So, we'll put that on the checklist. Civil War. There's a lot to say about Civil War. I think one of the main things I do want to bring up is how mad I was at Tony Stark at the end.
Oh yeah.
For being a piece of shit.
Uh-huh.
I don't think that Marvel intended for us to hate Tony Stark at the end, though.
Yeah, because I don't know if it's because like maybe it's because I know more about the comics, so I know that Captain America comes back, they get friends again, stuff like that. But like at the end of the book, like I felt that they did a pretty good job of making you feel like both sides were right in a way, and it was really hard to choose one side.
See, I don't know. It was doing a good job until the end, because when Tony Stark said like, "Oh yeah, I had this planned all along," it's like, you piece of shit. Like,
Yeah.
Your friend died. Like, people could have died. More people could have died.
Yeah. From what I also understand, I found this out after reading Civil War, but there's a tie-in book to Civil War called Civil War Frontline, and it's about two reporters and like them and how they go about the Civil War. And at the end, the last issue of Frontline is that they confront Tony Stark and they ask him about the Civil War and like why it was fought and stuff. And then somebody brings up the fact that because of the Civil War, Stark Industries was invested in the stock market and was saved from going bankrupt.
Oh.
So then, like I think the end of Frontline is meant to insinuate that Tony started the Civil War to save Stark Industries or to save himself.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I don't know if that fits with his character though, does it? I mean, he's a rich, greedy son of a bitch, but...
Well, it's not so much that he started the Civil War, but that he backed the Superhero Registration Act.
But he knew what it would lead to.
No, at the beginning of the book, you see that, like, everybody originally thinks, oh yeah, everybody's gonna go for this. Like, it's easy, you sign up, and then you're registered, and then that's it, you're done.
But he said he had it planned all from the beginning. Like, he specifically says that.
I think what he means from the beginning is when the war started.
I don't know. I don't think so. Because I even think earlier than that, he says something about, like, planning for resistors.
Well,
like, they were talking about it. They knew from the start.
Well, yeah, but I don't think that he expected it to go as far as it did in the book.
I don't know. Either way, the way he just stands there so fucking smugly, like, you think I would... And then he has the nerve to call them all his friends.
Yeah.
I think that's the part that got me. Tony Stark had the nerve to call everyone his friend after that ordeal.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I know in the...
Goliath isn't your goddamn friend. Captain America's not your goddamn friend.
Yeah, I know... I really need to read more Daredevil, but I think that Daredevil, having been unmasked, like, after Civil War or during Civil War or something like that still has ramifications for him, like, to this day.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, Peter Parker doesn't have any ramifications.
Well, because he made a deal with freaking stupid Mephisto, and because Marvel's dumb.
I thought he died. That's what I meant. I meant he's dead. I meant he has no problems because they can't happen to him anymore. He faced the ultimate problem. And he got through it.
But yeah, like... Yeah, Tony Stark is a piece of shit.
Oh my god.
But I know that after this, they have an even bigger lapse in judgment, in that they name Norman Osborn the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. after Tony Stark.
They do what? Where the hell's that comic?
That's a whole other thing, which we'll get into later, but at the end of Secret Invasion, basically, the Skrulls are stopped by Norman Osborn. So then everybody's like, oh, he's cured. He's not the Green Goblin anymore. He saved us from the Skrulls. Let's make him the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. because Tony Stark sucks.
God damn it. You playing for that, jackass? What's he doing? He gets up there. We're going to kill the Spider-Man.
Oh my gosh, I remember there's a comic.
Norman, Spider-Man's dead.
I remember there's a comic where he like cures himself of being insane from the Goblin Serum. So, it's like he's not insane anymore. So then he's like, "Oh, I'm not insane." And then any sane person will be like, "I have been freaking crazy. Time to go save my company and bring some flowers to my son's grave and all this stuff." But Norman Osborn's like, "Now that I'm not insane anymore, now I can really hatch a plan to kill Spider-Man."
Wow. Okay, so he didn't cure his insanity. He's just Norman Osborn now. Now he's just crazy without a suit. I got really mad at Iron Man, apparently. I didn't realize I was that mad until I started talking about it.
Yeah, I do like, though, the fact that Captain America would have won if the policeman and the ambulance driver and stuff hadn't have tackled him.
Yeah, and aside from that, though, the more I think about it, I don't think there was any side. I don't think it was ever a question. I honestly don't think that the Registration Act was ever a good idea.
I think that if a few things were changed about it, then yeah.
I don't think there's any way that it could have been good.
I
just don't.
I think that it would have been better if, like, all the superheroes weren't so much under S.H.I.E.L.D's, like, lock and key, you know what I mean? Like, if basically the Registration Act was like, you sign up with S.H.I.E.L.D. and you can go back to doing whatever you were. Just as long as S.H.I.E.L.D. knows who you are.
Here's how I'm thinking of it, and this is a bit of a different way to think of it. So Civil War happens, obviously, in Marvel 2005, 2006 era, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, the Marvel world keeps up, like, the Marvel universe keeps up with our universe technologically, politically, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, nowadays, you have to think about the kind of threats they'd be facing that we're encountering in the world today.
Uh-huh.
Now, let's just say, because the Registration Act, obviously, like, now that's not a thing, obviously.
Yeah. Like, actually, I think it's after Norman Osborn isn't the head anymore, they name Steve Rogers the head of Captain America. I'm sorry, the head of
Captain America.
Yeah, the head of Captain America. They name him the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then like, the president or something just like, "Is there anything we can do for you, Mr. Rogers? Like, you're an American hero." And he's like, "Well, there is one thing." And then it's just like a big banner in Times Square, "Superhero Registration Act repeal."
Nice. Damn it, I lost my train of thought.
You said the Marvel Universe keeps up with us technologically, the
Yeah.
threats that...
Okay, so you have to think about the threats they'd be facing now. So let's say the Registration Act was enacted in the Marvel world.
Uh-huh.
Like, let's just say that was a thing that happened, like it's continuing now.
Uh-huh.
Think about the threats that people are facing now. Like, the biggest threats that have happened in the past few months, or even weeks, have been, like, DDoS attacks, hacking, cyber threats, things like this.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it now in a retrospective point of view. The Registration Act was a horrible idea. Having a database of the information of the most powerful beings on the earth is the worst idea anyone could come up with.
Yeah.
In the wake of today's problems. And I think that's why, looking back on it, I disagree completely with Tony Stark and all that.
Yeah, but that's really, like, that's the problem with superheroes, like, nowadays. Like, back in, like, the 40s and the 50s and the 30s and stuff, like, oh, there's a dude in a mask coming to save us? Great. But, like, these days, it's like, oh my god, who's telling him what to do? Like, how do we know he's following the law?
It's one of the unfortunate things of progression in a society, is that the more information we have access to, the less and less we're going to be like, entertained by those tropes.
Yeah, because
like, we want things to pertain to real life. Like, we want them to be real, and this is probably one of the best examples of that I think I've seen, or at least this was the best example, like, at the time, of, like, combining socio-political issues and, like, the comic book universe. Like, they're going through basically something that we're going through, or were going through at the time. It was just could only relate to them, but we were still able to relate to it because it was familiar enough.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's definitely like this book just really delves deep into a lot of like the like like the base problems of like superheroes in a society, because like way back when, like if Batman or somebody were around, it'd be like, oh cool, dude dressed up as a bat coming to save us. But these days it'd be like, why is there a dude who's crazy enough to dress up as a bat coming to beat up dudes in an alley?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, here I'm going to do a quick little Google search because there's a short video. I don't know if you've seen it.
Huh.
It's about it's just that, it's a short movie. It's about a superhero, but it's told from the supervillain's point of view.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
What is it called? Is it Flying Man? I can't remember. No, I can't. Okay, I can't remember what it's called. I'm gonna keep looking it up though as I'm talking. But do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Do you remember what I'm talking about? Like it's for everyone who at home who doesn't know. It's a movie that's told from the villain's point of view, and there's a superhero that goes around stopping criminals, but he's completely silent, and I think he kills them.
I don't know, or something like that.
Or he just he beats the shit out of him. He does something awful.
Doesn't he have like a smile on his face like the whole time?
No, he has no face. He's just a silver man.
Oh, okay.
Like he's all in silver, and he just like floats down silently.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's basically about like how terrifying it actually would be if something like that existed. Because they're just petty criminals, like they're not doing anything big, but they're there like in literal fear of a superhero, and you never get that point of view. Like you don't get that point of view in comics. You just get the.
Well, you get that in Batman pretty well.
You do, but that's a different kind of like. Because that's Batman. Batman's not going to kill you. Like, he's not going to harm you, like, beyond repair. You're just going to get punched a little bit and then knocked out.
Yeah, like, I gotta say, I just recently read, Ultimate Comics, Avengers 2, and in that they introduce Ultimate Punisher, and it is, oh my god, like the first issue is all about the Punisher, and it is disgusting to read. It is it is so gory. It is so scary for like the criminals. Oh my god.
Oh, it's called The Flying Man.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll check it out.
Yeah, especially anyone at home who hasn't seen it. That is probably the best take, I think, on a realistic superhero that we could find so far. I mean, I'd love to see a different take on it.
Yeah, in that Avengers book that I read, like the whole first issue is like a montage of Punisher just like mowing down people, and then at the end he walks up to a dude and he has a shotgun and he points it to his head, and the guy's like, "Please, I have a family, and then he pulls the trigger and he's out of bullets, and the guy's like, "Oh, thank God you're out of ammo," and he's like, "Yep, I'm out of ammo," and then he just flips the shotgun around and beats him over the head with it.
Jeez. Punisher is... I don't know. I don't want to get started on Punisher because that's a whole other thing, but I feel like Marvel... I know they know what they're doing with him, but they need to change him, like, now.
Yeah.
We don't need... We don't need that kind of hero. Like, I get that he came about because of, like, the 90s grittiness or whatever, like the 80s grittiness, but...
Yeah, but 90s hardcore, you can't see when I'm doing the finger quotations. 90s hardcore isn't in anymore.
Yeah, and not only that, but like he's like, if you want to have the gun-toting vigilante, then do it, because like that's also an issue. Like that's a thing that we do need to hear more about. But just the way that he is, you can't sympathize with him.
He's so unremorseful and so like unmerciful. Like he just has no respect at all for any other human life besides himself. And it's like, and that's the thing when people always ask me, like, what makes Batman, like, not an anti-hero? I say it's because he doesn't kill people. Like that's the one reason why he's not an antihero. And one of my favorite quotes from Batman is that in year one he's escaping from this police car that's on fire, and he looks back at the cops that arrested him, and he's like, "They're scum, but even scum have families," and he saves them. And I think that's the big difference between a hero and an antihero. Is understanding that even though someone is evil, like to put it in the context of year one, even scum have families.
I don't. That's not the definition of an antihero.
Oh yeah, but for me, I'm saying for me.
Oh, okay, that's right. You do have your own personal definition for this kind of thing.
Yeah, I know, like the.
Because by the literary,
yeah, I know the literary definition is something like somebody with a heroic goal, but like villainous ways to attain that goal, or something like that.
An anti-hero fall here. Let me get the actual definition up so I don't mess it up. But actually, I think Batman does fall into the anti-hero motif.
Yeah, like I'm not going to argue that by like the literary definition, Batman's not an anti-hero, but to me, he's not an anti-hero for the sole reason that he has that mindset that even scum have families.
Yeah, actually, no, I'm looking at the definition of antihero. Maybe he's not an antihero. Let's see. Antihero, noun, a central character in a movie, story, or drama who lacks conventional heroic attributes. And Batman actually has entirely heroic attributes.
Yeah. The Punisher does not.
The Punisher isn't even an antihero. I don't know what the fuck he is. He's an asshole with a gun.
The Punisher... Oh my god, I know what the Punisher is. The Punisher is one of those villains who thinks he's the hero.
He is the box ghost!
Oh my god. But, yeah, oh my gosh, like...
Punisher's the box ghost, that's it.
But yeah, like, I remember in that same comic with the Punisher, Nick Fury goes to recruit him for the Avengers... And Punisher's like, I'm in prison, I'm on death row, like, what can you offer me? And he's like, well, you're in this prison full of people that I know you probably wish that you could get your hands on. And he's like, if you come and join the Avengers, how about I give you the keys to this place and all the guards leave for one night, and whatever happens. And he's like, okay, where do I sign up?
He didn't actually do that, did he?
No, he did.
Oh my god.
That's the end of the book, is all the guards leave, and like one panel is the Punisher in like this torture room just destroying this guy.
Oh my god. Punisher's fucked up.
But anyways, back to Civil War.
Oh yeah, that's what we were talking about. We'll leave all that in. Leave that in, Michael. Alright.
Well yeah, like Civil War is it's got a legacy. Like, even after Marvel restarts from Secret Wars, I think that people will still look back on Civil War as being, like, one of the most influential comics of, like, the Millennium era.
I just hope it doesn't become a thing.
You mean, like, how Secret Wars is a thing?
I hope it doesn't become a convention, like how, Convergence or, like the Doomsday events, you know what I'm talking about?
You hope it's not something that like reoccurs every now and then.
Yeah, I hope there's not a Civil War every 10 years. That's what I'm.
What I am hoping with the Marvel Secret War restart is that they restart from the beginning, and then you get to see takes on these big stories, but because it's going to be a different universe, you get to see how it could have ended. You know what I mean? If like some things are different,
that does open up that kind
of like some things are different. Yeah. So definitely, like maybe I don't know, like 20, 25 years down the line, I would like to see like a new Civil War, maybe tackling like another problem that happens down the line in like the real world.
Yeah, I would only want to see one if it's going to tackle something new, if it's going to reinvent, if it's going to if it's going to question something that hasn't been questioned before. That's the writer in me coming out.
Yeah, definitely. That would be really, really cool to see.
Definitely. Oh man, Civil War. I love this. I'm so glad that you had me read this.
Right? It's so good.
because it's so hard for me to just like jump into a series. But if you tell me to read something, I'm gonna read it, and I am so glad that I read it.
Yeah, definitely. Like I remember even before we started the channel, like my original idea for the channel was that I wanted to make a video where we talk about Civil War.
Right. Yeah, I remember you. That was one of the first things you approached me with was, Michael, I want to talk about Civil War. It's gonna be amazing. And I was like, okay, I need to read it.
But yeah, I guess as we're starting to close up, I should give credit where credit is due. Civil War issues 1 to 7 were written by Mark Millar and penciled by Steve McNiven, colorist Maury Hollowell, inker Dexter Vines, and letterer Chris Eliopoulos.
Yes, thank you to all you fine men and women who brought us this comic. You're all wonderful, and I love you. And I hope that one day I get to meet you, and I'll kiss you all of you.
It would be really cool to meet Mark Millar. He's a really good writer. He wrote Ultimates 1 and 2 and Ultimate Comics Avengers. That's why I really like those series. I really like Mark Millar. He's a good writer.
Yeah, the writing in this was really good. That's again another video entirely, and I wish we had more time to talk about it. But Captain America has some of my favorite lines. In this.
Yeah.
And then, like, as much as I hate Tony Stark, his reasoning whenever he's talking to someone is just so like he's so right when he's saying it. Like when he's trying to stop Spider-Man from leaving. And what he finishes with, just like, think about Mary or May. And I was like, you don't understand. You shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I know you're right, but that's not what he wants to hear now.
One thing that I do want to say real quick is that in the Spider-Man tie-ins for Civil War, when Spider-Man joins Captain America's side, there's a point in the tie-in where Spider-Man like kneels to Captain America, and it's like the point where he joins his team, and Captain America has like one of my favorite speeches in comic books. He says, "Doesn't matter what the press says. Doesn't matter what the politicians or the mob say. It doesn't matter if the whole country decides that something is wrong. It doesn't matter if the whole country decides that something wrong is something right. This nation was founded on the one principle above all else, the requirement that we stand up for what we believe, no matter the odds or the consequence. So when the mob and the press and the whole world tell you to move, your job is to plant yourself like a tree beside the river of truth and tell the whole world, no, you move."
I love that speech. I think, didn't I come to you with that speech like a few years ago and I didn't know what it was from?
Probably. It does sound familiar, like you had told me before.
I remember coming across it and then showing it to you, and then you were telling me it was from Civil War. And I was like, I don't know.
But yeah, that is one of my favorite Captain America speeches.
Yeah, so many good writers, such a good story, such a good plot.
Yeah. We definitely need to do more things by Mark Millar. I think Old Man Logan might be by Mark Millar as well.
Okay, then we should definitely put that pretty high up on our list, because Old Man Logan is something I really want to read.
So,
because there's a T-Rex in it.
So definitely, awesome. In the coming weeks or coming months, be on the lookout for our videos of Old Man Logan, and I want to do Ultimates 1 and 2.
Oh yeah, definitely. That'll be fun. And I actually have a comic suggestion.
Okay, then let's close up with that.
Yeah, so I've been reading this graphic novel called The Unwritten.
Is that by Grant Morrison?
It is. No, this is not by Grant Morrison, although it does sound like something written by Grant Morrison. I think when I explain it to you, you might kind of see where that's coming from. Okay, so let me just get all the information out here so I can tell it to you. Yeah, so it's The Unwritten. It's by Mike Carey, and it's drawn by Peter Gross. It's the story about a kid, or not a kid, he's an adult now, whose father is a really famous author. And he wrote these stories about a little boy, like a little wizard boy, and it's like it's a satire on Harry Potter essentially, where it's like the stories are about like this kid and he's like two magic friends, and like they go on these adventures and they fight a Voldemort like villain. But the graphic novel itself, it's not about those stories. It's about how the actual kid that they're based on, it's about how he lives his life, not being able to live up to those stories. And then, and I don't want to give away too much here because it goes insane. And also, I haven't finished it yet, but it really just takes you for a loop. And then, elements from the book begin flooding into his life.
Okay.
And he can't turn to his father for help because his father's been missing since he was like a little kid. And yeah, like the whole thing is just it goes through like how he lives with not knowing who he really is, because on the one hand there's the identity he's been living, but on the other hand there's the identity that's been forced on him, like in terms of the books that his father's written about him. And then there's an entirely like third identity thing going on where people come out of nowhere and suddenly they're just like, hey, you're not even that kid. Like, you're not even that person.
Oh, wow.
Like, you're someone totally different. Yeah, it's really worth the read. It's on my Amazon, so you can look at it. I'll give you that info later. But yeah, it's really worth the read, and I think it would be worth talking about on here because it goes over some really interesting elements, and it questions a lot about comic books in general and just storytelling. And it even goes into Greek mythology a little bit, and it's pretty neat.
That sounds really cool. So yeah, be on the lookout for our video on Unwritten.
Yeah, don't know when that'll be coming out, because we got to get through the first volume and see if it's worth talking about. See if maybe we should get a couple more volumes into the series. But yeah, that'll be coming up, and that'll be cool. I don't know what our next video will be though. What do you think the next one should be?
The next one. So for next week, that'll probably be our big video with all three hosts. Justice League Volume 1 Origins from the New 52.
Ah, yes. Looking forward to that. We have that one, right? We did that
I
one?
hope so.
Did we already make that one?
I think we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we made it. Right. Sick. If nothing comes out Friday, you missed it. It was a once-in-a-lifetime video. I'm sorry. If you're watching this Saturday, you missed it. We took it off. It was so popular. 10 million views right off the bat. It was amazing. Sorry you couldn't be there. Next time.
Next time.
If it is up, go watch it. Why are you here? This video came out a week ago.
Get with it.
Go. Shoot.
Alright, cool.
Are you still here?
What are you doing?
Get out of here!